Stop the violence. Pawn. Cast. You're welcome for that. Here's the thing. This fucking week, I cannot afford to be so serious and so sad and all of that shit. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why right now. I have reached some pretty serious activist burnout. And one of the biggest reasons for that is that I was assaulted this past Sunday. Yeah, I was physically assaulted for literally just peacefully holding signs at a public intersection. The other thing is that I've been to a few vigils lately, and after a while, I have to be honest, it just builds up. Like, the sadness and kind of, I guess, emotional trauma of witnessing that. If you don't take breaks, that will build up. It's very important to have good self-care as activists because we're constantly subjecting ourselves to immense suffering. Also, I felt very drained because here's the thing. This is my second attempt recording a podcast for this week. I already recorded a whole episode about victim blaming a few days ago, and I mentioned Vegan Gains on that episode because if you didn't know, Vegan Gains, he's a YouTuber. He has 341,000 subscribers. He's a vegan, obviously, but he's really not a vegan because about a year ago, he made all these videos where he victim blamed sexual assault survivors, and he promotes a false definition of sexual consent. If you want to learn more about that, I made a video about it on my YouTube channel, Alicia Demi. So that was fucking toxic to, go through making that video. The reason I made it is because I actually talked back and forth with Vegan Gains through the comments about him doing this, and you'll see, I'll read the conversation in the video on my YouTube. But yeah, that just left me feeling drained. It's very upsetting. It's just upsetting. And you know what? At the vigil that I got assaulted at, I had just witnessed a really just heart-wrenching, as they all are, but scene of a cow that turned and looked at me, and just that feeling of hopelessness, knowing that there was nothing I could do to help that cow, and it made me cry pretty hard. And then just to be assaulted later, it left me feeling really hopeless. If you want to know what happened when we were assaulted, in the next week or two, I'm going to post the video of it because it actually was caught on video by myself and somebody else, and the video tells it all. If you just watch it, I won't really have to explain it. I'll announce on the podcast once that's finally posted because we're just waiting for the police. We're waiting for them to call us back. We are pressing charges on these people. So when that video is posted, please share the fuck out of it because we're dealing with these two men who are women beaters. They put hands on myself and another woman, and they're disgusting. So I don't want to talk about it too much right now because it's upsetting, but do me a nice favor and just share that when I do post it. Thank you. Also, I put out on all my platforms and everywhere that I possibly could a prompt for anybody to ask me anything about veganism, whether it's eating vegan food, doing vegan activism, what veganism is, do vegans think this, should vegans do this, whatever, anything you could think of. I've posted it everywhere and I've only gotten a pretty small number of questions. So I don't have enough to do an episode about that. So I think what I might do today is I think I'm gonna watch a Jubilee YouTube video and react to it. They have a lot of cool videos where they have do all trans people think the same? Do all Democrats think the same or whatever. And they have these people and they ask them questions and they will say they strongly disagree all the way up to strongly agree, and it's pretty cool. So they have one about veganism. Do all vegans think the same? And I thought it might be more lighthearted, at least than my other episodes have been, to just react to that. And then over time, I'll gather questions for the Q&A episode. I don't know how long that'll take, but definitely anytime you have a question, comment it, message it to me, however you want to get it to me. Because I think a Q&A episode would be really fun and possibly spark some really good conversations. Alright, so I have a video pulled up on YouTube by Jubilee. That's Jubilee. The title of the video is Do All Vegans Think the Same? Spectrum. Okay, so let's get started with the first statement.
You can be vegan for reasons other than ethical.
Okay, so you can be vegan for reasons other than ethical. So I can pick strongly disagree, disagree, somewhat disagree, neutral in the middle, somewhat agree, agree, or strongly agree. So the most widely used definition of vegan comes from the Vegan Society at vegansociety.com, and they say veganism is a philosophy and way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose, and by extension promotes the development and use of animal-free alternatives for the benefit of animals, humans, and the environment. In dietary terms, it denotes the practice of dispensing with all products derived wholly and partly from animals. So I would say disagree, because right here in the definition, the purpose of veganism is to boycott the cruelty of animals. I know that it does mention, like, hey, it also benefits humans and the environment, but those are like secondary and tertiary benefits. The primary and most important thing is that it's about cruelty for animals. So you can start eating a plant-based diet for your health or for the environment or to prevent future pandemics, and you would be plant-based, because plant-based is just eating the diet. Vegan is when you adopt the way of eating which excludes animal exploitation, as well as you don't pay for things that were tested on animals, you don't pay for leather, you don't pay for fur, and you just do whatever you can to educate yourself on how to boycott all animal cruelty that you can as possible and practicable. And even if you do go plant-based for the environment, that still pertains to ethics.
I guess it's just like in the definition, veganism is a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as practicable and possible, all forms of animal exploitation and cruelty to animals for any reason, clothing, food. It's about animals.
Yeah, so they actually took the time to write this out at the bottom, and apparently this definition is from 1944, which is really, like, cool.
Animals being ethical for them.
I didn't become vegan with any sort of ethical reasoning in mind. I just was very sick all the time, and I just had an inclination that if I stopped eating animal byproducts that I would feel better.
So a lot of people start out this way, and I know for me, I started out a plant-based diet back in February 2019, just because a YouTuber that made lifestyle videos that I look up to, Kaylin Nicholson, had been vegan for a couple of years that I was watching her. She never talked about the ethics or animal rights on her channel, though, so I saw it as, like, a diet, and I saw it as, like, to be honest, like, ooh, she's thin and healthy, I want to be thin and healthy. So that was, like, my original motivation. It wasn't until I was already eating plant-based and 2 months into it came across the TEDx talk, Every Argument Against Veganism by Earthling Ed, that something snapped where I made the connection to the ethics, and then at that point I went from being plant-based to being vegan, and I became an activist very shortly after that as well.
Definitely have stayed vegan because of ethical reasons, but I became vegan for my health.
And that's a common thing. A lot of people go for health at first, and then, just like I just said, they learn the ethics, and then they stay vegan because of it. Because if you're going for health, it's so easy to stop because you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're not doing it for the reasons by definition of veganism. So she answered disagree, and now here's the other person who answered disagree.
I became vegan for health reasons, but I think the end goal of veganism is animal liberation. So I feel like that's more plant-based when you're vegan for health or vegan for something else, because at the end of the day, we seek to use products that have no animals in them at all.
The reason why
Yeah, so she said it perfectly right there. I think that, that sums it up pretty well. This next person answered strongly agree.
The reason why I went vegan was for the environment. Climate change is real. You could do more good for the environment by being vegan than giving up your car, which is insane. I guess the ethics came after.
So that's awesome. First of all, shout out to Jubilee. This video has 2.1 million views, and I'm sure that at least some people went vegan as a result of this video. Like, it's great that all of these people are hearing, like, it's the biggest thing you can do for the environment. They're hearing the difference between plant-based and vegan, so that is really awesome. The prompt for this one was, you can go vegan for reasons other than ethics. I would just argue that going vegan for climate change is ethics, because climate change and doing right by the planet is ethics. It's just a different ethics than animal ethics, because they didn't specifically say animal ethics, they just said ethics. That's just me being, like, really particular. Then he says he agrees with them, but he just says, like, I started for climate change, not ethics. And yeah. All right, so next prompt.
I will not buy or cook non-vegan items for loved ones.
So it's, I will not buy or cook non-vegan items for loved ones. Fuck no! And if you do this, you're not vegan. You're a plant-based apologist. I feel really strong about this one. Let's see how these people answer. So to be clear, I strongly agree. I would never buy or cook non-vegan items for loved ones. Luckily, we have 4 people that said strongly agree. Good. And then we have 1 person that said agree.
This one's tough because I've bought like a chicken burrito for my brother. He would go get it anyway, and that's maybe not the best way to go about it. Maybe I should deter him, but the way I try to promote my...
That's fucked up. You're not vegan if you're buying your brother a chicken sandwich. If he wants to pay for animal cruelty and you're assisting him in that, then you're not a vegan. Like, that's fucked up. Make him do it himself. Like, I don't understand the thought process here. But, maybe this girl's never seen slaughter footage. Maybe she's never watched a Minion. So that would be understandable for you to think that way in that case. But if you've, seen footage and then you assist other people to pay for it, there's just, no logical sense in that.
I should deter him, but the way I try to promote my diet is just by being an example and not...
It's not a diet. See, this girl, if she was a true vegan by definition, she would not refer to it as a diet. I know that sometimes we use the word diet because it's what we're eating, but, I try not to use the word diet because veganism is a justice movement. It's not a diet. Something like keto and low carb and all that bullshit, which has no evidence, by the way, but something like that would be a diet. Restricting your calories, that's a diet. But being against animal cruelty, that's not a diet.
By forcing it into someone else, because I just think that if...
So, sharing facts, sending people videos, speaking on behalf of animals is not forcing shit. we're not following people around at the grocery store with a gun to their head saying, buy the motherfucking tofu or you die. Like, that would be what we were doing if we were actually forcing. The only ones in this situation having something forced on them are the animals having a knife forced across their throat. I sound like I'm just verbatim answering exactly how, like, Joey Carpsong would answer, but, like, to me, there's no other way to answer that.
Maybe, like, I had bought a vegan burrito, he would just, like, be resentful of veganism even more because he didn't get what he wanted.
Buying it.
So this girl is a prime example of an apologist, and also, you know, a lot of females are programmed into being people pleasers, and, you know, she's clearly trying to be a people pleaser, trying not to rock the boat, trying not to hurt anyone's feelings. But if you're a true vegan for the animals, you've seen what happens to the animals, and you're really here to stand up for them, like, you understand that that's more important than maybe hurting someone's feelings. You know what I mean? Who cares if he didn't get what he wanted? What about what the animals want?
Or preparing animal products or anything that's not vegan for somebody is enabling them to fund the very oppression that I'm against. Like, for me...
Yes, perfectly well said. Also, this guy is wearing a shirt that says queer vegan. So cool.
I've taken the liberation pledge, so, like, I'll refuse to eat at a table where people are eating animal products. In my mind, it's the same thing as if, like, you're eating a dog or a child in front of me. You're not gonna wanna, like...
Yes, I love the liberation pledge. I haven't officially taken it just because I'm never really around non-vegans, but I need to just, like, go officially take it, because I think, you know, I've thought about it. I think there's arguments for taking it and for not taking it, and but for me, I definitely agree with taking it.
Like, stay at that table and be with that. You're gonna wanna, like, try to change those people.
Okay, so if you're gonna try to change people, don't you think it'd be beneficial to sit with them, because then you could expose them to your point of view?
So
that's, like, a good argument for not taking the liberation pledge, and I feel like, you know, for that, it's kind of just up to you, like, which one you want to choose.
Actually, every single person that I've told the Liberation Pledge about, they've had no problem changing their meals and going to vegan restaurants with me. If you care about me as a person, how could you not change one meal?
My approach is like,
I agree
leading by
completely.
example, right? All of my family knows you're not going to come to my house and bring any animals in or ask me to prepare it. But
Good
I
on
do
you.
a lot of cooking. So I think what has brought me a lot of joy is, like, taking everything that I know my family loves to eat and veganizing it. And I've seen, like, my mom, my dad, and my brother, who I never thought would go vegan in a million years, go vegan. And I do know that if I would have had the approach of, like, judging them or, you know, coming too aggressive.
Okay, I agree with, like, most of what she's saying here, but I have to stop when she said judging them. So when we judge a person's action of consuming or paying for animal cruelty, we're judging the action, not them. I feel like that's such an important distinction to make. You know, you wouldn't say, don't judge pedophiles for molesting kids. Like, of course we're gonna judge them for molesting kids. They're committing a wrongful, unjust act.
It would not have been met with love or understanding at all. Not forcing it on them, it has actually helped them come over.
There's that forcing on them again. Like, it's so sad that people think that speaking up for a victim and saying, like, hey, like, this is what this victim's going through, like, please boycott this. It's really sad that our society sees that as forcing. Like, it's just so ironic. Like, I'm pretty sure the same people saying that this is forcing wouldn't go up to a anti-human sex trafficking activist and tell them to stop forcing their views. You know, this only comes up with activism for animals. It's just, I think it's so weird and so sad and so unfortunate.
To the dark side.
You're still vegan if you allow yourself an exception. Okay.
Get a fresh.
Okay, so we got an ad here. So the next prompt was, you're still vegan if you allow yourself to have an exception occasionally. Strongly disagree, obviously. Like, no. A little bit of cheese is still a cow being a little bit dead, a baby cow being a little bit taken away, a baby male cow being a little bit shot in the head. If you do that for any reason besides for survival, there's, by definition, that's not vegan, and I hope all these people, like, understand that. We'll see. Oh god, no! So the apologist girl is walking toward agree. Girl, what are you doing? And we have, I think, 2 people that somewhat disagree, and then 2 people that strongly disagree. Why aren't you guys all on strongly disagree? Oh my god.
Where do you draw the line then, I guess? Like, you're bending your own morals every once in a while. It's the same thing with, like, Meatless Mondays. Like, we don't have, like, homophobic free Tuesdays.
Yes.
Like, it's every day is homophobia free,
Yes.
right? So, like, it's the same thing for me. If, like, you slip up, it's like saying, like, oh yeah, I just am, like, totally fine with certain amounts of exploitation if I'm doing it.
Oh
so
my
you're
god,
traveling.
yes. Yeah, and also, like, only rape once a week, and only be racist once a week. Like, yeah, on point. Like, this guy, I agree with everything. Like, we're on the same wavelength. He's probably seen Dominion and stuff like that.
And it's genuinely hard to find, like, vegan food. You can't, like, survive on, like, just, like, lettuce.
It is not hard to find vegan food. Come on. I mean, I get it. Sometimes it's less convenient, but is it hard? No. I mean, like, even if I've been at an airport, and yes, there's a lot less vegan food at an airport, but you buy a bag of vegan chips and an apple or a banana, you make it happen anyway. Like, I've been to a concert where there was no food places open and there was just like a tiny corner store. I walked in there and I bought a jar of peanut butter and a can of beans, and I had that for dinner because that was like my only choice. Like, you make it work. Like, I just hate when people act like it's so difficult when it's not. Like, there's gonna be extreme situations, sure, but I've never been in an extreme situation. Anyone with like internet connection, living in a first world country, like, is probably not going to be in an extreme situation or a survival situation. So that bugs me.
All the time. And in certain, like, cultures, like, say, like, China, like, it's really hard to find something without meat.
But are you in China? No? Okay, so why are you pointing to China? You think there's not vegan people that live in China? There's, like, animal save movement groups in China. There's activists in China. Like, China? Are you serious? Like, I don't know.
Grown up in different countries and surrounded by different cultures, and we live in a place where veganism is all.
Why should culture be a moral justification to harm anybody, whether it's human or animal? Like, you can veganize culture. You can veganize culture foods. You can veganize culture rituals. There's no excuse.
Almost mainstream, and it's super accessible, but there's developing countries where that's just not the case.
Okay, but you're referring to, like, vegan alternatives, like vegan ice cream and vegan meat and vegan egg and stuff like that, vegan fish. I get that not everywhere has those things, but everywhere pretty much, unless you're in an extreme situation, as I said before, you have beans, rice, lentils, pasta, fruits, vegetables.
No, like Beyond Burgers, Gardein, like those aren't accessible worldwide. We have fruits and vegetables everywhere.
Yeah, so see, we're on the same wavelength.
I don't want to just tell everyone to only, like,
There's food
basic
deserts,
plants.
though, and food deserts.
Are you in a food desert? Do you know anyone in a food desert? Stop.
That's not necessarily always true. Because I've been in these situations where it's just not really a sustainable option to feed yourself 100% vegan.
Is it
Provide an example of one of these situations. Did it last for more than a couple hours? Like,
more of like a convenience thing? Or is
Exactly.
it more of a like, it's really, there's literally nothing available. There's not a banana or an apple
Exactly.
or a bean.
I spent 3 months near the Arctic Circle in Iceland. And in Iceland, their diet is just, it's such a cool...
okay, so that would be a good example. I mean, but if you're gonna, like, go there, wouldn't you properly plan, like, how you can still be vegan? I don't know, let's see what she says.
climate. It's all like sheep, fish, you know, it's really dairy, because
But they don't
that's
have
what
any
the
fruits or
land,
vegetables out there whatsoever at all.
the climate doesn't allow for that unless you're building greenhouses, which, you know, is like how they're moving. But in remote villages where there's only 20 people, you know, you can forage flowers.
Yeah, but do you live there? No. So, like, what the thing is, people use these situations and try to use it as a reason for why they're not vegan. So yeah, I wouldn't go up to these people and, like, with a megaphone and be like, be vegan. But as she said, like, they're moving toward having greenhouses. It's not impossible. Even for this extreme situation, it's not impossible. You do your best.
To make tea and like little berries here and there, but that doesn't sustain people for the kind of climate that they experience.
I've been bullied for being vegan.
Okay, the next prompt is, I've been bullied for being vegan. I feel like everyone's probably going to say agree or strongly disagree. I say strongly disagree. I mean, you heard it at the beginning. I was literally physically assaulted, punched in the head the other day for being vegan, for sticking up for animals, for peacefully protesting. Wow, so this is way more spread out than I thought. Let's see, we have the apologist girl said strongly disagree. One guy said disagree. The guy that I agree with said somewhat agree. Someone said agree, and then someone else said strongly agree. So we're all over the place. That's really interesting. I guess it would depend on, like, whether or not you're an activist and whether or not you actually challenge people, or if you're an apologist like that woman who said strongly disagree and you are too worried about people pleasing and not offending anyone to stick up for animals.
Where I would come from, Orange County, is just a really nice place to be vegan. People really understand why people are vegan. Every now and then you get the, bro, you look like you need a hamburger, but I mean, it's not that bad.
I became vegan in 2006, and I didn't know anybody else who...
What a legend. 2006. Oh my god. I was only 10 years old. I'd never even heard the word vegan in my life at that point. Good on you.
didn't eat meat or was vegan. Like, I got left out of, like, a lot of dinner plans and stuff like that with family and friends. They didn't want to pick somewhere that I could also eat at. They wanted to stay with what they wanted to eat.
So selfish.
I don't think that I feel bullied for being vegan now, but when I first became vegan, I definitely did.
Well, you're probably not doing activism or speaking up for animals, or else you would be getting bullied.
Get people who try to take, like, my blackness away. They'll say, you're not black if you're vegan. How can you be black and vegan?
What? That doesn't even make sense. I know a lot of black vegans.
And it really does mess with your head. I'll get a lot of social media bullying to the point where sometimes it does affect my...
That's really upsetting. Like, first of all, that doesn't make logical sense. I don't know what thought process leads someone to even say something like that. But animal agriculture and slaughter industries also oppress black people in a lot of ways. Whether it's, the higher percentage of black people that work in slaughterhouses, see my episode about that. Whether it's spraying hog waste onto communities where a bunch of black people live, whether it's putting slaughterhouses and live markets in communities where black people live, whether it's telling black people that they need to eat dairy even though 75% of them are lactose intolerant. Like, there's just so many ways. So if anything, we should be teaching black people all of these things so they can understand how paying these industries is also exploiting black people and other people as well.
My mental health, just because I try to be a good person, but just someone finds out you're vegan and it's like the world hates you, and I think it's really easy to bully people.
It's so, like, why would you hate someone for being kind to animals? It makes no sense.
Online.
If you wear leather, you are not vegan.
Okay, so if you wear leather, you are not a vegan. Strongly agree. So the apologist said disagree. Someone else said somewhat disagree. 2 people said somewhat agree. And then the other guy said agree. I'm really disappointed that nobody said strongly agree. I guess they did say wear leather and not buy leather, so that would make a little bit more sense. Yeah, they said wear leather, not buy leather. So since it's wear leather, then yeah, I would probably come down from strongly agree to just agree. I personally don't have any leather except for one item in my house. I used to ride horses. I used to do all that stupid shit. So I have a leather belt from that dark era of my life. And I only kept it because I can use it because I have a buckle from when I used to barrel race. Stupid. But I'm keeping that in storage because I can use that to go undercover to document suffering at a rodeo or at an animal auction. So that's why I keep that. But I never wear leather in my day-to-day life. But, like, I know people who are activists who still have an item that's got leather on it and they'll still wear it, like, around the house or something. I don't think it's okay if you then would, like, wear that item to an activist event. Because you don't want to promote, like, a wrong message or make people think, oh, they're hypocrites, therefore I can still buy a cheeseburger. But yeah, let's see what these people say.
I think if you consciously consume leather and buy it and wear it because you want to and you're conscious of that choice, then it's not vegan. But the way our society is structured, there's so many accidental cases in which you could be owning or wearing a vegan thing. Like, you ride a bike, a lot of bike seats are leather, and it's hard to always know exactly what you're purchasing.
To me, it's like...
Yeah, I mean, that just goes like, you know, if you accidentally buy a cereal and it has honey in it and you don't know until you get home, like, you know, if you eat it, that's not vegan, but, like, the most vegan thing you could do in that situation is go back to the store and return it. Like, mistakes do happen. It's like nobody's perfect.
Like, just not fair to the animals for us to, like, abuse our own ignorance and not actually take the time to research.
I think people...
Yeah, exactly, because, like, if you were gonna buy a bike, like, it'll say it in the description what the seat has on it, whether it's leather or not. Like, if you're buying a car, you can know before you buy the car whether or not the seats on it have leather. Like, do your due diligence. It's not that hard. It takes, like, 5 seconds.
People do have excuses, especially in, like, poorer neighborhoods. They're working so much, they don't have the time to consciously go out and research about veganism. I think that's more of an issue that comes when you have more income. And
he has a point. Like, definitely, you know, the more you're working, the less time you're gonna have to make sure that you research about veganism. But that's what we activists are here for. That's why I spend the majority of my time researching. It doesn't take more than 5 minutes to see my post and then you've learned, like, then you don't have to do the research yourself. There's vegan activists out there. That's why we're here. We're doing the research for you. Like, we're making it easier for you.
more choice. And I just want to say, yeah, by the way, this is fake leather. This is fake leather.
Don't tear them apart in the comments.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
I think it's really important, though, that we, have a very clear message of what veganism is, because when we start to make excuses, then people who aren't vegan and are just learning about it, they have a confused message of what it is.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so the next prompt is, you are a better person if you are vegan. So I'm a better person now than I was before I went vegan, and being vegan is the morally superior option to not being vegan. So I think I would say agree, but you just have to, like, clarify, you know, do you mean better than other people? Do you mean better than your past self that wasn't vegan? Because, you know, yes, being vegan is morally superior to not being vegan, but, like, it's not about us trying to be better than you. It's just about us trying to teach you so that you join us in boycotting the cruelty. Okay,
So I want to...
most of them, 3 of them are disagree, one of them is slightly disagree, and then the other guy is strongly agree.
say, like, I'm a better person than other people in general, but me as an individual, I am a better person than I ever was before.
Yeah.
And I guarantee that anyone who goes vegan will be a better version of themselves.
Yes.
I think I'm a better person because I'm vegan, but I know vegans who are racist and homophobic, and to me, they...
Oh, yeah. And we're vegans who promote rape culture, like Vegan Gains. But, like, the thing is, if you are those things, by definition, that's not vegan because you're oppressing humans, and humans are animals, too.
aren't good people, you know? I think they make good choices when it comes to what they consume.
I think
It's an important thing to acknowledge, like, eating a vegan diet, but still, like, oppressing humans. Like, first of all, you're really not a real vegan, but, like, it does happen, and, you know, we need to hold them accountable just as much as we hold anyone else on this earth accountable.
to be vegan, which is why I was in somewhat disagree, because I feel like if you're racist and you're homophobic or you're an oppressor, I feel like that's very anti-vegan.
Yeah.
Just in my personal
Yeah, so that's what I just said, like, explained very well.
opinion, I feel like vegan is an anti-discrimination, anti-oppression
Yes.
movement.
Yes.
It's really hard to be racist and be vegan. I would not consider you vegan if you're homophobic
Yes.
or racist or something like that, because we are animals. How can
Yes.
you be discriminating against humans
Perfect.
in that form? So that's why I'm here, as someone who's truly vegan, who is of those values. In
Awesome.
my personal opinion, I don't feel like they're better, but I feel like they are a good person.
I love learning. I never like it that way.
Yeah,
Okay, that was cool. Like, that's an awesome video. Like, now they're done. Let me see if there's anything else here to react to.
Well, I mean, I'm a vegan, but there's so much more past diet that I
Veganism isn't about diet.
haven't even considered. Definitely, whether you are an
If you haven't considered those things, you're probably plant-based, dude. Like, go watch some Earthling Ed.
omnivore or a vegan, I think we can agree that the way we eat is always evolving, which reminds me of an amazing show on Curiosity.
If you're an omnivore, that means your consumption of animal products is unnecessary. So what is your moral justification for continuing to eat them? So that's the end of that. So we could end it here. We're at like 37 minutes or so, but like, you know what? When I listen to podcasts, I like it when they're an hour or over an hour or so long. So I'm going to do another Jubilee video. If you don't want to like stick around for the rest, I understand. You can click out. But for anyone who's really chilling and enjoying this, we're going to do another Jubilee video. So let's find one right now. So I found another one. It's their Odd Man Out series. It's called 6 Vegans versus 1 Secret Meat Eater. Wow, this one has 14 million views. Well, I'm excited. I've never watched this one. So basically they're going to have 7 people, I think, and then one of them's going to be secretly not a vegan, and they have to try to figure out which one. I've never watched an Odd Man Out before, so yeah, let's see how this goes. Oh my god, the apologist girl from the last video is on this one. This will be interesting.
Okay, Brandon, what do you eat for breakfast?
This morning I had buckwheat hot cereal, add almond milk and some water.
Okay. Who eats buckwheat in the morning? Like, I know people do, but I'm looking at him and his body language and how he's telling me, and I'm going, you just had buckwheat?
I eat buckwheat every
I've never had, I don't even think I've had buckwheat, certainly not by itself. I'm not even like 100% sure what it is or what it looks like.
single day for breakfast, and I feel like that's a normal thing. But everyone acted like it was a weird thing.
I'll be honest, I eat everything on bread. I have to. Because, like, I'm a recent vegan. I've been vegan for, like, 5 months. It's a challenge I did for myself.
5 months is not that recent. I was already a full-blown activist after only 2 months of starting to eat plant-based. For the record, you can be vegan and never eat bread. Just saying.
I have a question. What are y'all's favorite restaurants?
You should guys check out in North Hollywood. It's just, like, awesome. It's Cajun vegan restaurant.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I literally been taking... Oh my gosh, I took my friend Hannah. She's actually a big YouTuber as well.
Everything that came out of his mouth was super random.
Brandon, what's
That's the apologist speaking.
your favorite restaurant?
My favorite. Yeah.
I go to Taco Bell all the time.
What do you get at Taco Bell?
I get a crunch wrap, but swap out the beef and get some beans in there. Also,
I would never trust Taco Bell. Also, their bean burrito, I'm pretty sure is vegan, but if you actually look up the ingredients, it's a paragraph long. It's just processed. Like, if I had no other choice, maybe, but like, ugh.
swap out the sour cream and the cheese.
Also, there's such a high risk of them fucking up your order and giving you animal products, and you might not even know it. And there's, like, bound to be cross-contamination, and that's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Don't they use eggs in their wraps?
I hope they don't.
Yeah,
But
I hope they don't either, because then that wouldn't be vegan.
I don't know why she was calling me.
I like how she's so suspicious of him immediately. He's probably the one that's not vegan. Oh my god, yeah. Animals, like male chicks who are being ground up alive in a blender, don't have time for you to hope that there's not eggs in something.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like the way I look. I don't look like a vegan. Why is everyone
What the hell does that mean? There's no way that a vegan looks.
here a vegan?
I'm vegan because I actually moved out here. I felt like I was like, all right, if I mess up, I can keep on doing it. So I challenged myself. I'm 5 months in, and I was like, all right, I'm going to continue doing it. Because
You guys, we have 4 minutes left. Sorry to interrupt you, but we have 4
that.
minutes. I want to hear from other people. I want to know.
The reason I did it is because I wanted to.
We got it. You go around. Jalen was just taking up all the time so that I couldn't find any information about anybody.
I'm vegan because of the environment. I think the meat and dairy industry just contributes way too much to our environmental issue.
That's the apologist. Like, why is it so hard to be vegan for the animals? That's what veganism is.
And so that's why I decided to go vegan.
I've been vegan for almost 3 years. I kind of just followed like blogs and stuff, and then I found out I had like high cholesterol. I like cold turkey, just like quit it. The more
I hate when people are like, oh, baby steps, oh, I'm cutting out slowly. Like, there's no scientific evidence to suggest that you can't go cold turkey and be absolutely fine. The worst thing that would happen is you might fart a lot while your, like, gut microbiome is changing and getting used to it. My mom went cold turkey. I didn't, just because I had been vegetarian for a while. So, but, you know, if I hadn't been vegetarian, I would have gone cold turkey pretty easily, I think. Especially if I was, like, eating all the products and someone showed me, like, Dominion. Like, I would have gone cold turkey.
learned about it and educated myself, the more I wanted to keep going.
Yep.
I initially went vegan for my health, for my skin. It's kind of helped. It hasn't helped that much, but
You mean you went plant-based for your health and for your skin?
I think just when I was doing it, I was like, why go back? Kind of like you, like, I could do it, and I don't think there was a huge, like, pressing environmental factor. It's just like, I can do it right now, so why go back? And it's, like, been good. So it's almost been, like, a year, so kind of similar to you.
Good job.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't need to eat these products, why the fuck would you?
I became vegan for animal cruelty reasons.
Yes.
It's
Good
a
girl.
whole bunch of stuff, you can go into. But yeah, for animal reasons and environmental reasons and health reasons.
So I've been vegan for almost 10 years combined.
Hell
Started
yeah.
off when I was
Legend.
21 years old. I was drinking heavily and I just wanted to be
Whoa. So she's 31. She looks like 19. Just saying.
feeling like better in my body. So I took a yoga class, went vegan overnight, went raw vegan for 2 years, became a raw food chef. I'm a yoga teacher now. Yeah.
I went vegan kind of as like a transition. I was pescatarian for 10 years. And we have 2 minutes.
I don't want to cut you off, but I want to ask specific questions to people. But what is your favorite documentary that helps you
Ooh,
go
good
with
question. That would
help me go vegan.
That would be a good question to find out who's the non-vegan motherfucker.
And I kind of watch like those YouTube ones.
Which ones? Like what name one?
I don't remember the names. I like saw them in the blogs that I was talking about, and like
Which blog?
it was like this girl. Her name is Emma.
I gave her the side eye like, you don't know what blog, you don't know what.
Look up Earthling Ed. Come on. Okay, we've got an ad about to start.
The VR. This actually helped encourage me, and I watched from a first-person perspective.
Ooh, yikes.
Yeah, cows getting butchered. From you could see.
Ooh, he watched a virtual reality headset of cows getting butchered. We have them sometimes at Outreach.
See them getting cut up.
6, red light.
So like that was really traumatizing.
Of course it's traumatizing. Good on him for watching it
She had a little more makeup
instead of like, being a coward and looking away.
on, and she had nail polish on, and so I guess in my head I think vegans just go for the more natural sort of look.
That was the apologist. What are you talking about? There's like thousands of vegans who wear makeup and wear nail polish. Like, makeup can be vegan. Every type of makeup and nail polish can be vegan. Like, that's just this whole false idea that vegans have a look. Like, sure, maybe there's a higher number of them that go for the natural look because of, various reasons. I'm currently doing a year of no makeup. Maybe that, maybe something about veganism inspires you to care less about superficial things. I would definitely say that, but to say that there's a certain look for vegans is just, like, ridiculous. Like, veganism is just being against animal cruelty. There's no look for that.
I was like looking for some cues and like what people were wearing, and he was wearing like suede shoes. Most like vegans don't really wear leather.
Is suede leather? I'm confused. I just don't know. Okay, I guess suede shoes can have leather. I figured if suede shoes were blue, then that wouldn't be leather. But
Okay. Bye, guys. It was nice to know you guys. Take it easy.
So someone got an X over their face and they have to leave. Okay? I don't really know what's going on.
I was really shocked. I think I was a little bit shy in the beginning. When Aaron was grilling me, I just got really nervous. And, like, I forgot the names of everything. And I was like, there's cameras here. And, like, everyone's watching me. And, like, the time is ticking. And,
What is your favorite soap that you use?
Oh, my gosh. I'm more vegan for, like, food-related reasons.
Right, but typically, like, if you're vegan,
Yeah,
then, you use all your products that you love.
I identify as vegan, but I do it more so for food-related reasons, not exactly because I, like, did it for my health.
You can't identify as being against a cruelty, but still pay for some of the cruelty. That doesn't make sense.
Actually, fully agree with you.
Yeah.
Do you wear leather?
I don't own leather.
It's interesting. I own leather, but I don't buy leather. It's leather that has been bought years ago that I still have that I feel is kind of like wasteful to like throw away.
The important thing is you don't buy
Yeah.
leather because we vote with our dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And I won't get into this because we already talked about that with the other video.
I think, like, in this circle, like, there would still be people who, like, identify themselves as vegan, even if it's, like, food-related or, like, something else.
Like the range is like,
No, you don't get to choose, I identify as vegan without being fully vegan. That's not how that works.
But
There's like levels,
yeah,
because
but I
there's
think, like, the
vegans
odd man
that-
out wouldn't be some...
There's not leathers. You're either against animal cruelty and doing everything you can to not support it, or you're not. What you're thinking of is plant-based.
one who, like,
yeah.
is... like me, like, just doing it for food.
You guys ask me questions too. I like questions.
We know you do.
Do you eat honey?
Actually, I don't eat honey.
True.
Yeah, I don't.
Vegans don't eat honey, and if you're saying I'm a vegan and you still eat honey, you just gotta educate yourself on why it's not vegan and then stop.
Oh, I just don't at all.
I eat honey, but...
Honey isn't vegan.
I love this girl. She's so, like, not afraid to call people out, and she's so, like, no BS. That's awesome.
My reason for being a vegan wasn't good enough. because it wasn't coming from the same place that they were.
I have a question.
It's not because it's not the same, it's just because it's wrong by definition.
Yeah. So, okay, everyone think about their immediate circle. How many folks in your circle are vegan?
I'm supported by my circle.
Yeah.
Like, they thought I was unhealthy at first because I wasn't getting enough to eat. And I had horrible gas issues. That was bad. But
I mean,
I actually didn't even know that was a thing.
It's real, dog.
So far, you've said that you don't really consider yourself vegan
I think
because
if I were
of the products you use,
Yeah.
and
But
then
I feel
you
like
eat
if
at
I were
Taco
lying, I
Bell.
would like go like
Call him out, girl. That's awesome.
like lie and like say a lot of stuff. But you know, like I'm just like being real with you guys.
Yeah.
Like I try my best.
So
to,
how
like,
many
be a
how many
vegan.
years
You're not trying your best. You're being lazy and neglectful, and you're probably the guy that's not vegan.
have you been vegan?
Oh no, it's been like less than a year, like 8 months.
Actually, the fresco style at Taco Bell
Didn't he say 5 months earlier? Or maybe... Oh, no, sorry. That was the other guy. My bad.
is supposed to be vegan.
He didn't mention that. He said that he got the taco and then he removed everything, and then he mentioned that later on.
I have seen vegan YouTubers who like go to Taco
Bell's,
Bell
like,
and
a
like
go-to place
can make
for
it
me.
vegan just to show people that like it can be like convenient.
I don't know why you guys are trying to tell me about it. Like, whoa.
Wait, we have 2 minutes left.
Del
Yeah.
Taco also has
Del Taco started the Beyond.
has the Beyond Meat. Why don't you go there if you're vegan?
I thought Aaron was pretty aggressive, but in all the best...
You know what's actually aggressive? The way animals are treated. Have you watched Dominion? If you have witnessed it, I think you'd be aggressive too.
ways for a game like this. Like, she asks all the like heavy-hitting questions, which is exactly how it should have been.
What's your favorite candy?
Favorite candy? Most candies without gelatin in it. Nerds.
Well, name one. Name one.
Nerds, Sour Patch
Just name
Kids.
one.
Sour Patch Kids.
Okay, those aren't vegan.
I thought
Dumbass.
they were.
Sorry.
But
I don't like calling people names. I'm just saying. Like, that was dumb. This guy's not vegan.
do they have gelatin in them? Okay. Maybe I'm not a vegan. I don't.
Clearly not.
I don't. I thought they were.
But I mean, you know.
What's your favorite candy?
I don't eat candy.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
But just to be clear, there's plenty of vegan candy out there. And if you want to, you can. If you're vegan, you can still eat candy, just as long as it doesn't have animal torture in it.
It didn't seem that his ethics and his values were in alignment with the diet, because typically when you are vegan, everything surrounding you matches that.
Yes, exactly. So he got an X on his face, the guy who's, like, in my opinion, obviously not vegan. So, bye-bye.
See ya. I'm not, like, really a part of the vegan community, I feel like. I have
Yeah,
one
'cause
vegan
you're not
friend.
vegan.
I could have had 5 vegan friends, but they voted me out, so...
If everyone feels confident that you've already caught the mole, you can end the game now.
Okay, so they're asking, do you think you already got rid of the person who's lying? If so, you can end the game.
When you start questioning
It's too early to tell. I think those were the obvious ones.
True.
Yeah. I think we need like one more.
Wait, so we raise our hand if we think he's still in here?
I think they might.
I don't
She was like, down.
I think it's pretty obvious it was the guy that they just X'd out, but okay.
I was like, no. But no, I think no.
Okay.
Raise your hand if you think the mole is still in the square. If the lights turn green, you voted the liar out. If the lights turn red, the liar's still in the box, and you lose.
Okay, everyone looks nervous, so I feel a little bit more secure in this.
I probably shouldn't have played this part, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Dang, dog.
Phone the mole.
Oh, wow. Okay, so the guy who said he was vegan for 5 months, who said he went vegan because of the virtual reality set, is actually the person who's lying about being vegan. However, I would argue that the guy that they just X'd out is just one of those people who, like, thinks he's vegan and says he's vegan, but clearly, like, by his actions isn't. So, it's not like they were wrong.
I knew it. He was talking too much. He was obnoxious.
I'm so upset.
I literally whispered to Aaron, I think it's Jalen. I think it's Jalen. So I'm a little mad, a little sour, a little broke.
I've watched too much Survivor, man. Like, first round, getting thrown in, I was tested to see if...
Wait, what does that mean, I watch too much Survivor? Like, you think that gives you justification to pay for animal cruelty because sometimes people can be in a survival situation? That's bullshit.
I was gonna trip up on my words, how much knowledge I actually had. So I'm like, if I go first, I can speak the most and make it seem like an accident. So I just want time to run out. So it felt good because people got annoyed and they didn't want to hear from me. So they pushed me aside and started talking to everybody else. I got one from my fam. I got one from my fam.
Okay, well, you know, he did a good job of fooling, I'll be honest. A pretty good job, especially with that whole, like, oh, I saw it on a VR, virtual reality. Hopefully, though, now he goes home and watches Dominion and actually thinks about why he's paying for animal cruelty. Hopefully that girl that was, like, calling people out has a conversation with him now. Okay, so I'm having fun. I'm gonna click on one more. So I'm gonna click on their middle ground, vegans versus meat eaters, what is the right diet video. I know I've seen part of this before, but I don't really remember it. So let's go on and react. Alright, let's do this.
All of my vegans go into that pool of light, and my non-vegans in that pool of light.
That's a huge thing for me. I think it's one of my weaknesses, actually. Like butter, salt, it's one of my weaknesses.
There's vegan butter that tastes exactly like the cruelty version, and salt is vegan.
I love food. And I think my relationship with food actually deepened when I became vegan. I don't think I appreciated it as much as I did before I was vegan. My name is Aubrey Davis, and I have been vegetarian for 24 years and vegan for 13 years.
Oh my god, good on you.
I believe that humans
She doesn't look old enough to have all those years. That's awesome.
are the top of the food chain.
I believe humans are on the top of the food chain.
Is a human at the same level of equivalence as like a fish?
Right.
That's probably a big reason why I'm not vegan.
They don't have to be at the same level in order for you to just not stab fish. Like, I don't really think anyone thinks dogs and humans are at the same level, but we're not stabbing dogs
Anymore. Right. Because I didn't see that I had to see myself at a moral equivalent of a fish. And it gets into moral questions like, you know, why should we have a pet that's a dog rather than eat the dog? And I think the most important question is, why should I love my neighbor rather than eat my neighbor? My name's Steve Michelski. I was a vegan for a year.
There's no such thing as was a vegan. You were plant-based. There's no such thing as an ex-vegan because you're either against animal cruelty or you're not. You don't just go back on that.
Was a vegetarian for 2 years. I'm a meat eater now. I've been so for over 5 years.
Like, I don't even see, like, what is, like, a food chain, you know what I'm saying? That's just some construct some guy made and put a little diagram and put us, the human beings, on the top, so.
100%. Like, in the wild, yes, you have, like, lions eat this animal, that animal eats that animal. That's all natural. Like, those are obligate carnivores with claws and teeth that naturally catch their prey. Like, humans, no. It's all ego.
I don't think it's a question of whether we're at the top. I think it's a question of what do you do with that? If
Very
you
true.
have a more conscious energy than an animal, what do you do with that power? Do
Exactly.
you choose to take a life, or do you choose to live in love?
And it doesn't even have to be love. You don't have to love animals to just leave them the fuck alone.
I put a lot of thought into my meals.
The way I support my body and my health is extremely important. I don't find that I can function at my best, either healthy, productive, emotionally stable, or intellectually capable, unless I have a lot of proper nutrients in my diet. 6 years ago, I became vegan because I got sick. I started to realize that my health was directly attached to what I ate. Since then, my friends and family have supported me to feeling better, and I'm better than I was before I got sick.
Hopefully you know the ethics,
I don't
too.
really like cook or anything, so I don't really put too much thought into what I eat, I guess.
I live a
That's why you're eating meat, because clearly you haven't put thought into it.
fast pace, kind of like I'm working late nights or I'm waking up early, so sometimes it's easy.
That's not an excuse. There's a lot of vegans that are probably busier than you.
Easier to grab this quick processed sandwich or...
There's quick processed vegan foods, and there's more and more all the time. This is from March 2018, so there's probably a lot more than there was then, I'll give you that, but, like, not an excuse.
I wish I planned my meals out more. I think I would feel a lot better.
I think it's really powerful no matter...
I think you'd feel a lot better if you just stopped eating carcasses and secretions.
what you're eating, to put your intentions into, whether it's prayer, invocation, and there's just such great power and presence versus just like scarfing something down, but like, can I just really be present with this meal, take my time and chew it slowly? So that's the first thing that I resonate with and what I choose to do.
I mean, it's more important to just leave cruelty off your plate than it is to pray. I don't remember if that guy was vegan or not.
Kill an animal.
So I would kill an animal is the next prompt.
I think there'd be tons of contexts where I'd kill an animal. Like if a
Let me guess, if you like had to choose between shooting a person or a dog, like these situations you're never gonna be in. Like you're just not. So it's just like pointless hypotheticals.
lion's gonna go kill a baby, I'd probably kill an animal. I'd kill an animal to save a human life, and I'd get the vegans pregnant.
Exactly what I thought he was gonna say. So predictable. You're not in that situation, so it's irrelevant.
I wouldn't do that.
If I could do something to prevent killing them, besides eating them, like if I was protecting myself and we had to like...
Why not, like, prevent killing them by buying the vegan food? Like, literally, why?
So, something that we could do to get that animal away, I would definitely try to not kill it.
So in other words, you're a raging hypocrite. You wouldn't kill an animal yourself, and if someone was killing an animal in front of you, you'd stop them. But as long as you have the blindfold on and someone does it for you behind a wall with no windows, then you're fine with it. Okay.
I mean, I feel
if it comes down to you or the animal, you killing the animal?
I would.
It's not going to come down to that. Like, we'll have that conversation if ever that happens, but it's just, like, shut up. It's not going to happen.
I would.
No, they're going to give up their life for the...
What does that have to do with, like, your daily choices? Absolutely nothing. Completely irrelevant.
Fish.
Why is it always the extreme?
He just said, oh, you wouldn't give up your life for a fish. Like, in what situation do you have to give up your life for a fish? Just stop.
In case when talking about would I kill an animal, like
Exactly.
if you were in this situation.
There aren't lions running around downtown LA.
Exactly.
There's mountain lions that come and kill people. You've known that, right?
Yes.
That's in Orange County.
Totally.
Right? That's not in the jungle in Africa.
An everyday situation of would you kill an animal?
Exactly.
But it's Orange County. Mountain lions have killed hikers, kids. Would you just let them?
Irrelevant. What does that have to do with anything? What does that have to do with you going to the supermarket and paying for a dead animal to be tortured through a process that you more than likely refuse to watch?
We're hiking in the mountains and there's a mountain lion. I have to be aware of the fact that I'm in mountain lion territory and be like, I'm okay with the risk. Because to be honest, I'm not hiking with a gun. I have no way to defend my friend.
You don't hike with a hiking pole?
I mean, a hiking pole against a mountain lion?
I don't think you're winning.
I just want to say, like, even if I did, and even if my...
That right there just proves that we're not on top of the food chain. We couldn't naturally defend ourselves without an unnatural item such as a gun.
Attempt were to be successful, I would feel awful having killed the mountain lion.
Well, your feelings are your foundation then for your beliefs.
100%. Are human beings...
No, I mean, having empathy is good, but no, veganism is not based on feelings. It's based on justice and doing the right thing and not harming a victim.
Beings animals.
Yes.
Yes. Sure.
Would you kill another human being to save another human being?
Yes.
What makes one person more valuable to another? Is it your relationship to that person?
It would probably be.
So if, for example, I raise an animal in the wild, it's like an animal I've built a relationship with, and that animal now threatens the life of...
Yeah, it's unfortunate that humans have such an egocentric view that they have to have a relationship with either an animal or even a human in order to care about whether or not they die. It's sad.
A human being that I don't know, but I've known that animal its entire life. What makes killing that animal as just cause okay as opposed to saving that life? I have a longer relationship with that animal. Why would I kill the animal before I'd save that person? Because it's about relationship.
You kill a person over an animal. That's
correct. Because I believe human beings are animals.
Now, I see humans at a different level, but maybe you value fish at the same level as a person. We see it very different.
I don't know. I'm kind of zoning out here. This is just like a really just not relevant side tangent right now.
I do.
It costs more than it should to eat healthy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, the fact that you can get a 99% or 99-cent meat burger, but like a vegan burger will cost more, or like produce costs more than like a fucking, I don't know, bag of cheese. Like that's unethical. There's injustice where people who are more impoverished can't afford to eat as healthy, and in some cases there's ways around it, there's ways you can budget, but in general, yeah, it's really unjust the way that they make unhealthy foods cheaper.
It's more expensive to eat healthy. I don't think it's too expensive. Farmers market is something that I'm trying to frequent more, but sometimes, you can go spend $20 here and definitely not get as much. I definitely want to see that. Maybe that'll encourage people to eat a little healthier. If you can go grab that fresh fruit, those fresh veggies for $5-10,
I think.
Yeah, but even, quote, not fresh fruit and veggies is always going to be healthier than animal products.
I think our culture as a society is just ingrained towards like the fast food culture, which is cheap and accessible. But now I think we have more of a established like medical basis on what's healthy and what's not healthy. And
you would hope, but people are still promoting eating animal products, so that's not the case.
Get that content and to have it be tasty as well is expensive.
I'm running in.
Not necessarily.
It does not cost more money to be vegan. That is a myth.
Yes,
it takes
exactly.
planning. Yes, the convenience is less. Can you grab a hamburger at McDonald's? For sure, for 99 cents. But how much lentils can you buy?
Exactly.
The issue is capitalism.
Lentils, beans, rice, pasta, oats, all these things that you can buy in bulk are like so cheap, especially things like rice.
That is what is keeping us where we are. It's not that humans are smarter and they're going to come up with this technology. The technology exists.
Exactly.
It is there. We can feed so many people. It is capitalism and...
Well, and you're growing crops to feed livestock that can be fed to starving humans. There's only 2 billion starving... I say only because of the comparison. Of course, 2 billion is way too many, like... 1 would be too many, but there's 2 billion starving humans on the planet, but we feed I think it's around 70 billion land animals, not even including marine life. 70 billion land animals per year we feed to just slaughter them. 70 billion compared to 2 billion. Pretty sure that we could use the food. We're feeding 7 billion animals who eat more than humans, especially if they're cattle anyway. We could take that food, that land, those resources to grow those crops and feed the starving humans. When you buy meat, you're saying fuck you to the starving humans. Like, fuck you, it's more important to feed livestock so I can have my meat.
Factory farming.
And most of these companies that are selling us products that are...
It's not just factory farming, it's any type of animal agriculture, though.
like shitty food, they don't give a fuck about you at all. Period. Someone's sitting on an island somewhere.
Oh yeah.
Like just stacking bread.
And they're
all
probably
this fast food shit.
eating really healthy food too.
Yeah,
And they're probably eating real good.
And probably their own products.
Yeah.
They're not eating any of that shit.
You go to certain neighborhoods, certain areas, you don't see the same fast food. You don't see the same restaurants. And it's all for a reason. You know,
accessibility.
Yeah, so then why are you paying for these oppressive industries when you know that? So I'm just going to shout out the book Supersizing Urban America, How Inner Cities Got Fast Food. It talks about how like governments paid for these areas to have fast food and to have animal products, and how like they're promoting specifically like these areas where it's more poor people or where it's more non-white people to basically like poison them more than they're poisoning other groups and areas. I haven't read it yet, but I heard about it on a podcast. So there you go.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. It's like they don't have, why is there many health food stores in the hood? How come I can't like get an option? Why is there a liquor store everywhere?
Exactly.
And it's true. It's like when you break it down, there's like malicious intent to deharmonize and like lower the vibration of certain people and certain areas. And it's like, that's a part of it too. It's like, what am I contributing to? True. I'll say that.
Yeah, that man who's still eating meat, who brought up this issue in the first place, needs to consider what he's contributing to.
When I was 11 years old, my father passed away from his second heart attack. He was diabetic. He was pissing out of a tube. I watched him deteriorate my youngest years of my life for like years and years, just deteriorate, taking pharmaceutical drugs and just kind of basically dying slowly because of what he chose to eat. To me, I'd rather spend an extra $1 and eat organic or something healthy now and live longer.
Health is wealth.
Than try to cut corners when,
I'm with you. Like, make the choice now instead of later. Because my mom was the same thing. She died. She was eating buckets of ice cream when she passed away. She died at 49 years old.
Wow.
Now. Choose now.
The more education that we can put out there, just like stuff like this is beautiful. That's what I was most anxious about, is learning more of what I'm trying to step into. I don't know if I'll ever give up chicken. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't know. I want to eat a lot cleaner chicken.
Do you guys...
What the fuck is cleaner chicken? I mean, I'd love to ask him that so he can just stutter and not have an answer.
Have, like, cheat days ever?
Hell no. I am vegan 100% at the front line, ethical reasons, always, always, always. And that's why I don't think in 24 years I've ever gone back.
That's the only way to be. Like, because if you're not that way, you're plant-based.
It was hard to try new things I didn't like. Found tons of vegan food that I was like, oh God, what the fuck are you people eating?
Yeah, but there's even more non-vegan food that's like that.
And then simultaneously realizing that there was options, there's always choices, and it's always choices we make. Like you said, you may never give up meat fully.
Why would you decide to just be closed-minded and just... That'd be like someone being like, you know what? I'll educate... or I'll, like, find education, but, I'm probably never gonna give up being racist, Like, it's just, why would you close off? I don't understand.
But it's like, you're making a choice, you're at least thinking...
Would you still feel that way after visiting a chicken slaughterhouse, I wonder?
For yourself and making a decision, and, like, that's all you can ask people to do, is think for themselves.
I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. Thank you. No
problem. Okay, I think it's over. That's the end of that. That was awesome. So, since I'm sitting here with YouTube in front of me on my laptop, I need to, like, draw attention to Earthling Ed's latest video. We need to talk about the rise of veganism. I feel like this is the best video on the internet right now. It's only 8 minutes, but it covers so much. It's brilliant. Like, I'm gonna start using this as one of my staples, like the TEDx talk, every argument against veganism. So please share that video, please watch it, it's just brilliant.
Number 1, pandemics. If there's one thing we don't want to hear about ever again, it's COVID-19. And yet there's a good reason why leading infectious disease experts have referred to COVID-19 as a dress rehearsal. After all, the 2009 swine flu pandemic was traced back to a pig farm in North Carolina. The 1918 bird flu pandemic is strongly believed to have started in a chicken farm in Kansas. BSE came from cattle farms in the UK, Nipah from pig farms, MERS from camel farms, bovine TB from dairy farms, bird flu strains such as H5N1 and H7N9 from poultry farms and live bird markets, and of course, SARS and COVID-19 from wet markets. And COVID-19, as well as originating from a wet market, has also mutated in mink farms all around the world. This is why leading experts and scientists, including those from the UN, the WHO, and the European Food Safety Authority, among others, have all warned us about the role that animal farming has in the spread of infectious disease. CDC stating that 3 out of 4 new or emerging infectious diseases in people come from animals. Animals. By now you've probably come across a video online showing something like pigs being killed in CO2 gas chambers, or newborn male chicks being macerated and ground up alive in the egg industry. Or maybe you've seen dairy cows being forcibly impregnated, having their babies separated from them within the first 24 hours of them being born, and then being put in solitary confinement hutches just so that we can take their mother's milk. However, even though these standard legal practices are so upsetting that we actively avoid watching them and even thinking about them, the issue of what we do to animals is much larger than just these actions. That we deny animals the moral consideration that they deserve. A sentient being becomes a number and is viewed as disposable, their life being viewed as if they are inanimate. Or someone who rescues a dog is viewed as a hero, but someone who rescues a pig is viewed as a criminal. The environment. At this point, it's well known that animal farming is incredibly damaging for the planet. It produces at least 14.5% of total greenhouse gas emissions, which is more than the combined exhausts of all transportation, including planes, cars and trucks, and some estimates place this number even higher. It's also estimated to use around 30% of the planet's fresh water, and it is the #1 cause of water pollution and oceanic dead zones. It uses 83% of global agricultural land. Consequently, it's the leading cause of deforestation and habitat destruction. And organic, grass-fed meat and dairy is no different, with a recent study showing that organic animal products are just as bad for the environment as regular meat. Out of 313 global food systems, the most sustainable diets were the plant-based diets, with the least sustainable diets being those that favoured ruminant meat and milk. Switching to a plant-based diet would also allow us to feed everyone on the planet, whilst also freeing up 75% of agricultural land, which is an area of land equivalent in size to the whole of Australia, China, the EU and the US combined. Land which could then be reforested and restored, allowing us to sequester 16 years worth of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere by the year 2050. 4. Health. When it comes to health, it's not just that a plant-based diet has been shown to be healthy and nutritionally adequate for all stages of life, including pregnancy and infancy, as stated by the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. It's that a whole foods plant-based diet has been shown to help the gut microbiome, reduce inflammation, lower high cholesterol and high blood pressure, boost your immune system, and also reduce the risk of developing many of our leading chronic illnesses, such as heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certain forms of cancer such as colon, breast and prostate, as well as strokes and dementia. Ultimately, it's...
So I think we're done here. Yeah, if you're not vegan yet, listen to the TEDx talk, Every Argument Against Veganism on YouTube. Watch the documentary Dominion. Watch the documentary Earthlings. If you're not an activist, start small, start doing something, start speaking up. And again, as a reminder, to just do me the favor to share the video of myself getting assaulted when I do come around to posting it. It'll be on my Facebook, Alicia, Alisia, space Knoll, Knoll. It'll be on my YouTube, Alicia Demi, Demi, my Instagram, Alicia Demi, and the podcast account. Follow that, by the way, if you haven't. Stop the Violence Podcast. Be sure to shoot me with your questions, ask me anything for a future Q&A episode. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Join me next Tuesday. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.